Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. As promised, we're going to be delivering 21 of our favorite mindset shifting strategies and lessons. Let's face it, if you are racing motorcycles, you know this is like the gnarliest sport in the world. And it does require more than just a highly tuned motorcycle and even a highly tuned physique. Without a strong sense of yourself, a passionate why, and a willingness to endure this entire process of getting better, we're probably not getting the most out of our program. I have been someone who has really struggled with my own mindset, my own concept of myself, and what I was allowing myself permission to do in this life. And the one thing that I found for myself is that really focusing on these concepts that we're going to be teaching over the next 21 lessons, not only will they have a dramatic impact on your racing and your program, but I know that they will have a powerful impact on your life as well. It's going to be broken down by days in the timestamp. So today, do lesson 1. Tomorrow, come back to this video, find the timestamp for lesson 2, and then apply that one, or apply both of them. Sometimes people find that the longer you take, if you do this day by day by day, that's when the greatest changes can really take place, because you're showing yourself patience over time. And it is that process that allows the full scope of improvement to take shape. We have done this inside of the Like Attracts Like podcast that we host for years, and it's really just the most fun, authentic, and really self-transformational thing that we have been able to do. And to apply it inside of the motocross experience and racing is just, it lights me up. So I'm ready to go. I'm ready to dive in. So this is the first lesson. Lesson number 1 is more of an agreement. I'd love for this to be an agreement that you make going forward in your life and in your racing program today. And the agreement is that outside of all things, your mind is the most important part of this process. Your mind is not who you are, it is a tool, and your awareness of it is the foundation for all change in your life and in your racing program. If you can agree that your mind is the most important part, you are going to be setting yourself up to get absolutely the best results from this challenge. What I want you to do is imagine the best motorcycle you can, whatever brand you love, whatever size you like. You have endless resources. You can put all of your money into this motorcycle, and I want you to put it right here in a bubble in front of you. And then I want you to take the most highly tuned athlete, physically tuned, ready to go athlete right here. The best physique, the highest level of endurance. There they are, the best motorcycle and the best rider. You might think that this combination is the combination that will command the highest level of success. But the truth is that you can take the best motorcycle and put the best rider on it, and if their mind is not sharp that day, they will lose. When there is little or no variation in the motorcycle and all of the athletes are tuned to the highest degree, the one thing that has infinite possibilities and potential to separate these athletes and their results is their mind. This creates an intense level of excitement for me, because not only have I found these things to be true at the level in which I'm applying them in my life, but I know that they are true for other people as they are exploring their greatest potential too. The mind is the most important thing. It is the command center of our entire program going forward. So if you can accept that, this leads us to the second point for today's lesson. The mind operates on 2 different things. One is who. The mind operates on who you believe you are. And the second thing is your why you are doing what you are doing. If a human being could figure out who they were and why they were doing what they were doing, life would be an entirely different experience. And I believe this is the experience that we are all on. We're just fortunate enough that we get to try to find out using these motocross bikes that we absolutely love so much. So today, what I want you to do is to get very clear on your why. As we get clear on our why first, I promise you, we are going to go through a process of discovering just who you are. The combination of these 2 things over the next 21 days are going to give you such a powerful resurgence in your life and in your racing program that you might not even recognize the person who's going to show up here on day 21. So grab a piece of paper, Write down right now what your why is. Why are you here? What are you looking to shift in your experience? What are you looking to change in your program? Are you trying to get faster lap times? Are you trying to improve your form? Are you trying to qualify for Loretta's? Are you trying to win Mini-O's? What is your goal and why? Over the next 21 days, we're going to show that it's not just your goal and your why, but who is setting the goal, but who shows up when it counts, when it's time to get the job done. All right, so that's the end of day one. Today, you lined up. Tomorrow, we're gonna find out what your default setting is under pressure. All right, so welcome back to day 2 of the 21-day Mind Shift Challenge. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about an agreement that we have to make in order for this or anything else that we are looking to pursue in our life to work. And that is the understanding that your mind is the most important part of any program, because without it, your navigation of any program that you are operating inside of could be flawed. Today, we're going to talk about what the mind is so that we can use it as a powerful tool in our lives. So the truth is, many people think that their mind, i.e. the voice in their head, is who they are. And when we believe that the voice in our head is fixed and that it's who we are, then we operate under what I call your default setting, the default story of you. So what we're going to be looking to do in this challenge is gain a little bit of clarity and distance from the voices in our head and the story of us so that we can actually use that space to rewrite it. Day number 2 is a very, very powerful teaching because it absolutely allows us to understand what happens when we are put under pressure. You've been racing motorcycles, or if you've been riding, you understand that inside of motocross, it's very hard to find a more pressurized situation. We've all been there. We've all lined up on the gate at a high stakes race. We have all needed to push for one more lap, trying to get another second off our lap time. Whether we feel the pressure is coming from the outside world or whether we are putting the pressure on ourselves, how we handle that pressure is determined by who we believe we are and how powerful our why is. All of this is contained inside of our minds. I like to use an example from Wayne Dyer, who takes an orange up on stage in his teaching, and he asks the audience what they think will come out when he squeezes this orange. And of course, all of them say orange juice. And this is really, really powerful because as he does that and you see the orange juice flow all over the place, it's very, very clear, and it makes a lot of sense that what is inside of you will come out of you when you are put under pressure. The what is inside of you in this example is your mind. What your base setting is, your default story of who you are, will come out when you are putting yourself or when you're being put under pressure. This is why it's so important to know what our mind is saying as we operate in high stakes situations, high stress levels, or with high risk levels. Not only will this allow you to perform at a higher level, but it can actually lower the risk that you take or the risk that you feel in high pressure situations, because you will no longer be conditioned to react to fear-based or overexcited voices or narratives in your head. So today we want to understand, you don't rise to your training. You fall to the level of your default story. Remember that. No matter what you're doing, you won't rise to the level of your training. You will fall to the level of the default story of you, whether you believe you can, whether you have taken the time to prepare enough, and when it counts, to know that you are someone who can accomplish what you've set out to do. So today for day 2, what I would love for you to do is to get a little bit more familiar with what the voices of your default story say when you are put under pressure. This requires an incredible amount of honesty, but try to recall some moments where you were put under pressure, or you felt pressure from somewhere else, or you had to perform that day. When you're put in those situations, what does your brain say to you? What does your mind say? Does it suggest that you're going to do it? Does it hold any doubt at all that you can do what you're saying you're here to do? Grab a piece of paper and write down 4 of those things. We're going to be using them a little bit later on in this challenge, so it's going to be really good to get familiar with them. So today we talked a little bit about how important it is to understand that our mind is a tool, that it contains all of our belief systems and the entire story of us, who we believe we are, and that if we want to perform at a higher level, we are going to have to work with that mind, not just to shift what it believes or what we believe to be true, but we are going to have to shift our identity entirely, shifting from someone who believes something is possible for them to becoming someone who knows that it's possible for them. In order to change anything, we really do need to know what the origin of these beliefs are. So tomorrow, we're going to be talking about how our concept of ourself is formed, where those limiting beliefs come from, where the doubts come from, where our sense of self comes from, so that we can use that later on in the challenge to shift our story and our potential completely. Hey everybody, welcome back. Day 3 of the Mind Shift Challenge. I'm so excited for this day because honestly, this is the day and this is the teaching that helped me the most in my life. When I was struggling in my early motocross days, when I was struggling inside of relationships, just struggling in general, this is the teaching that really helped me. It's called the Law of Hypnotic Rhythm. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about our mind as a tool, how it contains all of our belief systems, our entire self-concept of ourselves, every limitation that we experience. It's all contained in this thing called our mind. But if you ever notice, the fact that we call it our mind implies that it can't actually be us. It is an object, it is a tool, it is something we are aware of. But it can be really important to know how these thought systems and belief systems that we work with every single day inside of our training program and our racing and riding, it can be really important to know how those ideas are formed and how they shape our self-concept and therefore our performance levels in all areas of our life. So it has been said, and you can Google this, that every single day, the thoughts you are thinking, 70 to 80% of them are the exact same thoughts that you thought yesterday. Now, I really want you to kind of think about this and how powerful that is. We are thinking or have access to the same thoughts day after day after day after day. And as many of you know, if you are identifying yourself with that mind, with those thoughts, then you are responding and reacting the same every single day based off of those thoughts. It's what you believe about yourself. So this is how you respond in the world. This is how you respond in a race. This is how you respond when you are looking to tackle a new goal or outcome. Here's the beautiful part. Most of the thoughts that you are thinking are not yours. So where does self-doubt come from? Where does a limiting belief come from? And what we find is that in most cases, from our formative years, you might be in your formative years now watching this, your limited belief system or concept of yourself is hypnotically suggested to you from your external world, from the people in your lives that operate at a lower level than even what their potential is. And when someone is not operating to their full potential, but believes that it is beyond their control to change it, then they want other people to align to that level. Otherwise, everybody would just be encouraging everyone else to achieve their highest goal. But we know that this only happens in limited groups where everyone is of the same mindset. So before you know who you are, it's very possible that you are taking suggestions from other people who have told you who you could be, or they told you who you are. And it's often been said that if you don't know who you are, you leave it open for other people to tell you who you are, and you'll operate unconsciously from that point of view. So inside of your racing program, before you believe in yourself, you might be trying to do this for someone else, to get someone else to believe in you, or to prove to yourself that you're someone. But there's a good chance that you are battling your own mind in the process of finding out who you are and what is possible for you. So this is my favorite part. This is where you can actually separate what's been happening in your life or what life is showing you about you from what's possible for you. It's really the foundation of the entire process going forward. If you can understand that there is a part of your brain, the RAS, it's called the reticular activating system. It is part of your brain that goes to work in the world observationally to bring to your attention what you tell it you want to see, even if it's something you don't want to see. For example, you might have heard what you focus on expands. If the track is super rutty, it's very rainy, and the ruts are crazy, but you have a story that says you're not good in the ruts. You're claiming ownership of an identity. I am not someone who is good in the ruts. Your friend comes over. Your friend loves ruts, and they come over and they say, the track is awesome. It's amazing. And you say, I hate this track. This track is terrible. I'm no good at ruts. Now, the gate drops, you go out there. This is the framework or the lens that you are experiencing this track through. Not an objective experience of a track, but your personal perception of the track. Your brain is designed to bring to your attention those ruts. and then your story about you in relationship to those ruts, and you're setting yourself up for a problem. Not because the ruts are there, but because you've identified yourself through your mind as being someone who's not good in them and someone who fears them. Your brain brings that to your attention from fear to protect you. That's not a good combination if you're going out to race at a high level on any track. So what can we do from here to realize that the belief system, the identity of you being a person who is not good in X, Y, or Z, or you being a person that expects X, Y, or Z result in the world because that's the way that it's always been. It's always been that way because we constantly allow ourselves to revisit the past in our mind. We bring that into the present moment. Our brain goes to look forward again to confirm it back to us, and then we repeat our history. This is why it's so challenging to improve your life, because we are going up against the hypnotically programmed mind that we believe is us. So what can we do? Understand that your mind, and then therefore your life as a result, operates in loops. Today, grab that same piece of paper and see if you can identify 3 different experiences from your life or from your racing program that continue to repeat on you. Use mine with the ruts, or if you don't like rainy days, or if you don't like hard pack, or if you don't like X, Y, or Z situation. What is your story about something that you don't like inside of your training program? I don't like to work harder. I can't stand doing push-ups. I don't like to do planks. I really can't stand running. I'm not a runner. Whatever that is, try to write down powerfully what those beliefs are about yourself. Know that they are not objectively true, that they are self-identified concepts of you that can be changed. We're going to go through a process of changing them, but it's going to require one very, very powerful thing. It's called permission, and we're going to talk about it tomorrow. Hey everybody, welcome back to day 4 of our 21-day mind shift challenge. Yesterday we talked a little bit about how our minds develop our limiting belief systems, our doubt, our fears, everything that suggests that we can't rise to the next level in life or in our program. And today we're going to start talking a little bit about how we can begin to change our mind so that we can optimize our program and our results on and off the track. So on day 1, we talked about a very, very important agreement, and that is that we have to agree that our mind is the most important part of this process. Today, we're going to talk even deeper about why we have to agree that the mind is the most important part. Our mind doesn't often contain an ability to reflect upon itself. And so when something is going wrong, or when there is a fear or there is a doubt, we, as we're identified with our mind, to prevent ourselves from any self-scrutiny, will often point outside of ourselves. We'll point to the bike, we'll point to the track, we'll point to another rider, we'll point to the weather, we'll point to usually anything else but ourselves as being the reason that something went wrong, why something didn't happen, why we didn't perform at a certain level, why we didn't hit our goal. Our mind does that by default, believe it or not, to protect our self-concept. Our ego points outside of itself. And what that does when you're pointing outside of yourself or blaming something else, it actually stops in its tracks the ability for you to evolve beyond your current condition or beyond your current state or experience of life. So the second agreement that goes with the first agreement is that from this day forward, we are going to only allow full accountability. It does not matter if it is so far out of your control what happened. We are going to take accountability for how we respond. We're going to take accountability for everything. We are no longer going to allow our mind to point outside of itself when trying to make a change or trying to hit a result or trying to justify why we haven't yet. Just these 2 agreements alone, day 1 and day 4, if you could do these 2 things, your life will change almost instantly. Remember, you don't see life as life is. You see life as you are. The concept of you and your belief and your doubts or your limitations, that is the lens that you're viewing life through. So the only person who can change what you are seeing or can clear the lens, or as they say, pull the tear off, is to take full accountability. Because if you are waiting for someone else to change in order for you to succeed, you're going to be waiting a very long time. When our results are conditional or dependent upon something outside of us, we take all of our power away. And what we're trying trying to do here is understand that all of the power to shift your program, to get better results, or to change your life in any way, shape, or form, it exists in you. If anyone says otherwise, you should be able to feel the lie of that. You should be able to feel how small that makes you, to believe that something or someone else has a certain power over your ability to rise beyond it. So today's going to be really, really easy. Day 4 is simply agreeing. I don't care if you have to write it down a million times, put it in your notes, be more aware of times you feel your body and your story want to point outside of you as to why something is going on with you. Oh, they did that, so I did this. This happened on the track, so I went and did this thing. My bike sucks, so that I couldn't do this. Whatever it is, even if it feels true, that's the most important part. It's gonna feel true to you because we've been telling the story for a long time. So even if it feels true that this is the thing that caused that, don't allow that to be true anymore. And watch what happens today. Watch how amazing you feel today taking your power back. And even after you take your power back because you're taking full accountability, that's still not enough to start the chain reaction of change in your life. There's one more thing that you really have to do before we can get down and dirty with these mindset shifts, and that is give permission for your identity to change, and we're going to talk about it tomorrow. See you then. Welcome back, day 5 of the 21-day Mind Shift Challenge. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me. If you're still here, drop a note in the comments. Let me know how this is going for you. Let me know if you've had any breakthroughs. Let me know if you're confused about anything I can touch on a little bit deeper in the comments. I'd love to kind of respond and help out in any ways that I can. Let us know how it's going and how you're feeling about the whole challenge so far. All right, day 5. Yesterday on day 4, we talked a little bit about how we have to take full accountability for absolutely every single thing in our life because it is the only way to gain enough inner power and strength and knowing to change it inside of our racing program, inside of our life. It is all the same thing. It's the beautiful thing about motocross. For myself, I'm really able to use motocross to apply all of these lessons every single day because it's the most challenging thing that I've ever done. So all of these lessons apply because they challenge my core identity every single day, every time I throw my leg over the bike or say that I have to do whatever I have to do today to train to perform on the bike. That's what I love about combining these two worlds. And that's what I love about today's lesson, because even after you take full accountability, you could still be inside of this accountability loop where nothing actually changes. So in order to become the person who shows up on the line the most confident, knowing that they're going to win, knowing that they put the work in, knowing that it doesn't happen once you get to the line, it happens in the weeks before the race, that you have to do this every single day and commit to yourself. We have to do one very important thing. You have to give permission for your identity to change. Because remember, your mind is your concept of you. It's how you identify yourself. So once you remove the limitations, once you no longer believe the doubts that it's telling you about who you can be or what you can do, the next part of this is giving permission for a new story to come in, a new narrative written by you, one that is more intentionally designed for you to hit your goals on the track or, again, in your life. If we don't give permission, nothing will change. And here is why. Your mind is designed to keep you safe. Just remember this, if nothing else. Your mind, your brain, it's not trying to punish you by saying these ridiculous things to you. It's trying to keep you safe. This is what it was designed for. It's a process of evolution. And what it's trying to protect you from is what we're going to call the unknown. So even if you don't like a lot of yourself as you tell the story of you, even if you don't like that part of you, it's still safer than writing something new that you don't have experience with yet or that you don't believe yet. So I'll give you an example. When I came back into motocross after almost a decade of being off the bike, I remembered who I used to be. I remembered what I used to do. I had some idea that I was okay back in the day, but now I'm trying to do it. I'm older. Everything's pretty much changed. I want to be someone who says that I can operate at this level, but I don't believe it. I am down here saying, I want to do this. I have this goal. I want to achieve this. But my identity is from the past, and my current identity in this sport was not anything. I had no evidence currently of who I was on the bike. I was struggling, but I knew that I wanted to be this person over here. So what I had to do was understand that this person over here who does the things that I say I want to do in the world has a completely different life than me that's sitting here when I'm doing this. They do different things. They think differently. There's an entirely different sense of self-concept there. For the person who was wishing I could be this person on the track, the person who was sitting here dreaming about it, that person hadn't done those things yet. So to do those things in the world requires permission from the version that I am now. I have to allow myself to get outside myself, to expand. But there's a lot of doubt that comes with that. You have to give permission to do the things in the world that the person that you want to be does. And this is why permission is so important. Otherwise, you'll just stay stuck in your narrative, wishing and dreaming that you're getting the results that the best version of you does get. The difference is the best version of you is a version of you that you have allowed to come out of you, to flow, to show up and do the work. You have to do the things that the version of you that you want to be does to get the results that that version of you gets in the world. Otherwise, you're just going to be operating in loops. Giving yourself permission to change is where this starts. So today, this is another easy one. All you have to do is give yourself permission to go on this ride. Give yourself permission to shift your identity, to feel comfortable in the uncomfortable. Know that it's going to be uncomfortable. This goes with all aspects of motocross. Training, long endurance motos, racing, being on the line next to 41 other highly trained athletes. Like, this is a wild ride. So you have to give your permission to rise to the occasion. Otherwise, you will drop again to the level of your old identity. Hey everybody, welcome back. Day 6 of our Mind Shift Challenge today here on the channel. What we're going to talk about today is one of my favorite things, and it's accessing your higher mind. So we have accepted that our mind is the most important part of this process. We have made an agreement that we are not going to point outside of ourselves when it comes to changing our identity as a racer, as a rider, or as a human. And we are all agreeing to give permission for our identity to shift, for us to close the gap from who we maybe have been being to what we would like to outline ourselves as in our program in this world. Now we could start the process of really being able to understand what is about to happen, how our minds actually shift from the current identification of who we believe we are to something greater, to something more aligned, to something more powerful, less fearful, and more understanding of embracing the process that leads to success and letting go of the idea that some external result will turn us into someone who is amazing. Realizing that that power comes from the inside out is really where we start to shift things. And what we need to do is find out who we truly are. If you remember, in day 1, we talked about how our mind operates, how we operate. The first thing that we are looking for is who. Who are you? So if you are not your mind, then who are you? Who is observing the mind? This is going to be the introduction to yourself, your authentic self. Beyond anything your mind tries to tell you about you or describe you as. I'm going to explain this as simply as I can. We're going to talk about our egoic mind, the story of us, as being something that is an object. It is the one that is holding the narrative and the story on a replay or a playback in our head, kind of talking over everything that's happening as it's happening, telling us what we think about it based on our own lens, our own personal self. Your higher mind is the one that is connected to infinity. It is the one that is connected to your soul, to your heart, to the truth, if you will, of who you are beyond that limited story. This is really important in life and in your program because when you're operating from the limited mind, it's very easy to continue those loops of fear, to continue those loops lacking progress in your life because it's scary to the limited mind. But who you truly are, the observer of all of this, knows exactly what the next steps are to take, knows that it is the process of taking those steps that is important, and will allow you to not live in your mind of the past or the future, but be more present right now. The one thing I know for sure, and I believe you all can resonate with, is that a lot of us do this because we could never possibly be more present than when you are racing a motorcycle or riding a motorcycle. When that gate drops, there is nothing happening. All the fidgeting stops, all your worry stops, everything goes away the second that gate drops. Why is that? It's because you're out of your mind. You are out of the limited mind and you are operating in the moment in a flow state, hopefully. The reason sometimes this goes wrong is because our identification of that mind is so powerful that it comes back in at the most inopportune times. If you make a mistake, if you slide out in a rut, if you get cross-rutted, if you hit a bump and swap, if somebody passes you, again, day 2, that's when the story of you comes out. Do you get frustrated or can you stay in the moment? Can you trust? Can you operate at a high level of a new identity instead of falling to the level of your old mind? This is the most important part for us. So what we're trying to do is to get into the flow state of your higher mind, which operates in the present so that you're not operating from fear during the most important part of your entire race or program. So today what we're going to do is really, really fun. We're going to introduce you to your higher mind, to yourself, to the space between who you think you are and who you truly are. So what I would love for you to do is close your eyes, get really calm in a quiet place, and what I want you to do is whisper the word hello 3 times in your mind. Can you hear that? There's nothing happening, I didn't say anything, but can you hear yourself say hello 3 times? Now what I want you to do is scream the word hello in your mind. Change the tone in your mind as loud as you can. You can hear yourself, isn't that weird? Screaming the word hello. Now I want you to whisper very quietly. You can hear this. So the question that we have when we do this exercise is who is saying the word hello? And who is listening to the word hello in your mind? Again, in the beginning of this, we are trying to shift our identity. We often think that the words that we hear in our mind, as the example of hello states, that we think that those words are us, that is who we are, that what the voice says is just something we have to kind of deal with. But what you could see here is that you can change the inflection of the voice. You can change what the voice says when you are intentional. This is how we access who we truly are. You are the one listening to the words that are being said. So what we do here is we can absolutely disconnect any power from the words over us. This is the key. This is the tool. This is the space that's actually going to allow us to shift the identity. Because the closer we are to it, the less likely we are to shift beyond it. The more distance we have from our story, from our mind, from what it suggests about us, that's the space that the change is actually made. After you take full accountability, after you give permission, this is what allows us to move forward. You're going to be doing a lot of this observational work going forward because the more you understand that it is in the space between the words, it's in the space between the story, the quiet before the storm when the gate is about to drop and it all goes silent. That is the power of who you are. And you can allow access to a higher sense of yourself. It exists within you already. And for the rest of this challenge, we are going to dive deeply in how to access it so that you can use it practically in your life to make these powerful changes that you're looking to make in your program. See you tomorrow. Day 7 of our Mind Shift Challenge. Thank you so much if you're still with us here. This is really one of our favorite things to do, myself and Gina. We use all of these tools every single day. Again, we teach them on the Like Attracts Like podcast. It's on Apple and iTunes and Spotify. We'll post a link below if you want to kind of dive deeper into any of these concepts with us. But if you're still here on day 7, thank you. Let me know in the comments how you're finding the challenge after the first 7 days. Let me know if you've noticed anything new or if you want more clarity on any of the specific days. I would love to help out in any way that I can. Again, we're doing this challenge with you, and Usually by day 7, I'm pretty like wound up. I'm pretty amped to kind of make these changes at whatever level I'm looking to implement them on. Day 7 is going to be what I like to call a very powerful recap. Before we shift into phase 2 of this from day 8 to 15, we're going to go over quickly day 1 through 6. So all of these concepts are fresh in your mind and you can use all of them today and see what happens by the end of the day. If you have any powerful revelations, shifts, or improvement in performance in any way, shape, or form. Day 1, you are understanding and agreeing that the mind is the most important part of any process you have when you're trying to make a change in your life or in your identity, in your motocross program, and any relationships you're keeping. Your mind is the key. Once we agree to that, we can start familiarizing ourselves with the mind, understanding, as we said in day 2, that the mind is a tool. It is not who you are. It contains the story of you. It contains all of your belief systems. It contains your limited story. It contains every aspect of your own sense of your self-perception, and that is what comes out of you when the pressure is applied, when you set new goals, when you imagine that you want to be something or someone other than who you are because you know that that is what you are meant to be here. You are going to go up against your current self, and that self exists inside of your mind. Day 3, we talked about the law of hypnotic rhythm, how the concept of you that exists inside of your mind, most of those belief systems and those ideas aren't even your own. They are projections from other people or situations that you may not have been clearly able to understand at the time, so it formed a limited sense of yourself, a version of you that maybe isn't your most optimal version, doesn't perform at the highest level, doesn't follow the process long enough to achieve the results because maybe you don't think that you're worth it. Maybe you don't think it's possible for you. Once you realize that this is how most of the belief systems we have and the story of us was formed, we can bring it right into day 4, and that is understanding full accountability. We take full accountability for any changes that we are looking to make to our program. You want to perform at a higher level? It has nothing to do with the track. It has nothing to do with the weather. It has nothing to do with the conditions. It has nothing to do with your bike. Even if it feels objectively true in the world for you, it doesn't mean it can't be improved. It means we are no longer going to give it power when it comes to our ability to rise beyond it or hit another level. We can use these obstacles as the way we change, no longer allowing them to be the reasons that we stay small or stay the same or no longer allow an improvement. Day 5, giving permission, full permission for your identity to shift, is the most important part to starting this process. You can become aware of your limiting story. You can become aware of your limited self. You can become aware of all of these things and not give yourself permission to change, and you will not. Your mind is designed with a gatekeeper to protect you from things that are unknown, even if the unknown is a better version of you. If your mind doesn't have an example of it as you being it, it will try to prevent you from going out and getting it because it's going to perceive that it's not safe. You have to give permission for yourself to change, for you to change beyond your current sense of yourself. Without giving permission, you're going to continue to follow yourself in loops, getting the exact same results. And day 6, we start to uncover the truth of who you are beyond that story, really allowing access to the space between the words in your mind and the observer of the words. Realizing that you are the one who is observing the narrative in your mind, the story of you, is where true empowerment exists, and it's also where the alignment to your higher self or your higher state of mind, this mind shift that we are looking to create for you, all of this exists inside of you. You do not have to go outside of yourself to get it. No one else can tell you. We can only point to where it is. It is inside of you, but we are blocking it. The story of us is blocking it. So when you can allow space from the story, you will allow yourself to shift through the levels of your mind to where a higher truth about who you are and what is possible for you exists. I am so glad that you have made it through phase 1 with us. The next phase 2, is really, really exciting because it's a little bit less theory and it is more practical access to your higher mind. This is where a lot of powerful shifts can happen in a very short period of time. See you on the next one.